Welcome back to the program. Let's go live to the member for Casey, Liberal MP Aaron Violi. He joins us every Monday. Can I ask you, is this a risk for the Liberal Party to not get on board with the Help to Buy scheme, taking a government helping, say, with 30 or 40% equity in the home to get people on the property ladder, and then, say, a childcare worker or someone else finding it hard to get into property would be able to buy something and then buy out the government down the track? Why doesn't that make sense to you, that shared equity proposal?
Well, great to join you, Kieran. It's not a risk for us as a coalition because it's a bad policy, and I'll just outline a few of the reasons why. I mean, firstly, this shared equity scheme is being run in most of the states and it's actually undersubscribed. So Australians have opportunities to sign up to these schemes at the moment. They're voting with their feet and they're not doing that. So there's no great demand for it. One of the reasons there's not, and I caught the minister just before I was on, and when she talked about the Bank of Mum and Dad, what she didn't mention in that interview is the government will actually own a part of your home with this shared equity scheme, and they don't like to talk about that. And that means that if the property goes up in value, they'll recoup that upkeep. There's questions that haven't been answered. As for an example, if you put $50,000 into improvements in capital works, which increases the value, the government gets the upside of that. You only get a percentage of that. I mean, we had a situation in my community where a resident wasn't able to access financial hardship on their home loan because they were under a state shared equity scheme, and that issue hasn't been addressed at a federal level. So while it's a nice headline for the government, it's not actually going to deliver. There's no demand for it in the community. It creates more challenges than it solves. And the irony is, Kieran, we've got a policy to help Australians get into their home by accessing their super, which allows them to unlock their own money. And when that house increases...
Would you like to see that go further? Because Andrew Bragg, when we've spoken to him recently, was indicating that you will up the level with which first home buyers would be able to access this super. What level should it be at?
I think we need to continue to look at the level we've got at $50,000 makes sense, but we should be able to look at what we can do, because this is the part the government don't talk about when we talk, and we need to continue to talk about this with our super scheme. Once you put that money in and your house increases in value, which history says they generally do, and you sell that first home to move into, potentially a larger home, that equity increase that you've gained, that goes back into your superannuation. So we're giving Australians, young Australians in particular, the opportunity to get into the property market while also looking after their super through capital gains in their house prices as well. It's a lot better option than having the government own half of your home or a third of your home.
On to another story, the ABC's removed a story on the war crimes series. Heston Russell has already won a defamation case against the ABC. Now he's calling for a parliamentary inquiry into this report that included, according to forensic experts, doctored audio. What's your take on this?
Yeah, I read these reports today, Kieran. They're deeply concerning, particularly, I mean, every journalist and every news organisation has to be held to account. But when the national broadcaster with taxpayer money, they've got a higher standard, as we know. And so these are concerning reports. I'm going to look forward and watch with interest what comes out from ABC management, what the government position is on this. We really need to understand what's happened here and why this has happened. And particularly, and everyone should be subject to scrutiny. No one is above scrutiny. But we saw last week with the release of the Royal Commission report into veteran suicides that we do have to be very careful around how we prosecute these cases post a conflict and how we look at what's happened. So to hear that there's allegedly a doctored report is deeply concerning.
Aaron Violi, thanks. Talk to you soon.